Hi, Aries. This is going to be your bonus reading for the middle to the end of June. It's good for the sun, rising, or moon sign of Aries. Please keep in mind, as always, this is a general reading. It's not a personal reading. So it's not going to resonate for all of you that watch because it's not meant for just one of you. If you want a message to resonate with you, just for you, 100%, book a private reading with me. The link to my website to schedule a reading with me is in the description below. If you're new to the channel, welcome, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when I read for your sign. Aries, you guys came in number one with the views this week. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to connect to your energy. For the longest time, I got the least amount of views on my Aries readings, and it really bugged me because I'm a Libra and we're like the esoteric power couple of the zodiac in Mars and Venus, and I always felt such a sense of obligation to your sign. So I was pleased to see that I got a lot of views from you guys this week. I have dropped cards for a Celtic cross to focus just on you. And I also pulled some cards of advice that I will go over at the end. Please don't click off on the advice. The advice will help you and give you some direction on how to move forward. So I can see that you guys are really going through something. I have an Emperor and an Empress on the table, both in the reverse, and the Hierophant is here. So this could be about family, marriage, large commitment here. I have the Ten of Cups and the King of Pentacles as well. I think you guys are going to be okay, though. I think by the end of June, you guys are going to have a difficult choice to make, and you're going to need to weigh your options and use discernment. You might be at a bit of an impasse. So hopefully, this will give you some enlightening information that will help. I see at the bottom of the deck that I've got the Five of Pentacles here, and the Star is in reverse here. So some healing that needs to take place. You might feel kind of disconnected with the Star in reverse. Don't feel hopeless. You might be in a place of healing right now. With the Five of Pentacles here, some of you are very worried about money. I'm so sorry, my loves, if that's the case. Many of us are worried about financial loss or even impoverishment. But the Five of Pentacles can just be worry and isolation, not getting what you need, feeling left out in the cold, and a lacking mindset. You have interesting cards at the center of it all for you, middle to end of June. Now, this could be your energy. It could be an energy around you. I tried very hard to hyper focus on your energy, though, Aries. And I like to use card combinations to get a little bit of a bigger picture. The Emperor in reverse to the Knight of Cups. So this is your card, Aries. The Emperor establishes a lot of authority and a lot of control, and he's very practical and very logical. I think that you guys might be having some power struggles with someone the middle to the end of June. It might make you feel a little powerless. Make sure you're up for any challenges with your levels of commitment. Make sure you establish the structure and authority in your own life. When the Emperor comes in reverse, the advice is always you cannot control anyone but yourself. I think you might be feeling a little powerless in a situation and having a hard time getting control. Some of you might be wanting to step out of role of leadership or authority. The Emperor can sometimes have to do with an authority figure, a husband or a father as well. But the Knight of Cups is what's clarifying it. So I see you guys really trying to pour your heart into something, but the Knights are not committed. They come and go, they carve their way in the world, and they've got something to prove. The Knight of Cups is a great energy. It's very creative and very romantic and very charming and imaginative and very beautiful. It's very good at expressing emotion. So you might be really giving something your all this month, Aries. Some of you want to step out of a role of authority and move into something where you can be a little bit more creative and imaginative. Watch for over romanticizing anything, but I don't think that will happen necessarily. The Knight of Cups is a great energy. It takes a lot to pour your heart into something. So I see you might be standing up to some authority, and the way you might do that is to pour your heart into it. Just watch that for others trying to control you or having power struggles in some way. Again, I think some of you want to step out of this kind of logical, practical energy and move into something where you have a little bit more emotional freedom, which I get. That sounds pretty human to me. The challenge for you this month will be the Sun in reverse and the Four of Cups. First of all, you guys need a little bit more time in the Sun. The Sun in reverse is where we're either overly optimistic or we are pessimistic. The Sun is sometimes where our inner child comes out and needs a little bit of attention. It can either mean too playful or a lacking in a playfulness. But overall, the Sun in reverse means possibly operating under a false impression. So you might need a little bit more information. Things need to be a little bit more out in the open for you. You need a little bit more sun, a little bit more light shed on a subject. It's also possible that the sun is going down on something. And with the Four of Cups here, this is such a tough energy. This is, look at her. She's just like, I don't know what to do. This is where we get into a place of emotional reevaluation where we focus on some negative things and we feel some regrets. We can't get something off of our mind, but it's difficult to do anything about it. It's a feeling of emotional apathy because we need to emotionally reevaluate something. So the challenge might be you need a little bit more fun, a little bit more sun on something, a little bit more information, and the challenge will be not focusing on the regrets and not staying in a place of emotional reevaluation for too long. The Four of Cups is a hard energy to be in. I think you'll handle it okay by trying to pour your heart into something. I found that to be interesting. What's driving you guys? Knight of Swords to the Two of Cups. So you really want to have a heart to heart conversation with someone. You're feeling a strong unification. You're focused on partnerships. You're focused on face to face emotional connections this month, which I think is good. And the Knight of Swords, you have two knights here that are very strong energies. The knight will come rushing in. The Knight of Swords is very brave. Some of you are dealing with an earth sign. This is almost like a sweep you off your feet kind of feeling. So for some of you, this is about career or relationship possibly. But I have an emperor and empress, and I have some knights. So this could be a familial thing as well. What's driving you is the need to take the lead and be very direct and be very charming to a degree, but more so daring and be a hero and take a risk. He's very ambitious, this Knight of Swords, and very fast thinking. He'll go out on a limb. And I think you this month will be rushing in at something and taking the lead and saying, "Hey, let's sit down and talk about this." Um, you really seem to feel the need to take charge of a situation. I think it's a situation that you're just tired of reevaluating, not getting enough information or clarity on, and it might be making you feel a little powerless. I like the way you're going to handle it. I get it. That's a good way to go. That's how I would do it. In the past, Ten of Cups and the King of Pentacles. So this could be about a husband or a father. You could have been dealing with an earth sign. Some of you have earth in your chart. In the past, there was a lot of harmony. This is about a divine love, a blissful relationship, happy endings, where everyone aligned in values. And this King of Pentacles energy suggests leadership, security, discipline, and abundance, wealth, even, and being very grounded, very practical. So things were going really well. A lot of this might have to do with what's going on in the world right now and not being sure how to move forward. You might be feeling really powerless with this Emperor in reverse here because that's your card, Aries. But the way you seem to want to handle it is that Knight of Cups and the Knight of Swords, which will really pour into something which I like. What your soul is telling you, this is the advice that you're giving yourself. I always make this placement in my Celtic cross. What can they do right now to help this situation? The Hierophant, this Hierophant's been making its rounds, you guys. The Hierophant's a Taurus energy, and it has come out in so many readings. And I think it's meant to challenge me personally. Side note, I hate the Hierophant. It's like one of the most difficult cards for me to connect to for whatever reason. But, when I saw it, I was like, okay, Hierophant, here you are again today. The Hierophant to the Ten of Wands. So, happy endings and blissful, harmonious relationships within yourself, within family. But this Ten of Wands is a heavier energy. This is burdens. This is extra responsibility. This is hard work and completion. The Hierophant is very much about the structure of society and about the laws that we live by. And it can be about university, a big company, marriage. The Hierophant can sometimes be spiritual wisdom and knowledge, taking a modest approach, taking a very conservative, pious approach. Be careful that you're not allowing family, friends, and your obligations here to be making you feel powerless and weigh you down. I see you guys wanting to be a knight and come and go and get creative and have, you know, a lot of action in your life. I think your soul is telling you some of you are obligated to something here. with the Hierophant. This could even be government, taxes, a bank, even something like that weighing on you, but it could also be family and friends making you feel obligated, telling you what to do. This could also be, I think some of you are in a job or school or something that's really weighing you down. Complete the cycle. This is but something has a heavy burden for you. So be careful that this isn't a person or a situation imposing what they want upon you, because I see you feeling the need to challenge that with the Emperor in reverse. So this is the laws we live by, and playing by the rules. So they're saying just complete the cycle and let it go so that you can move on and let that Knight of Cups and Knight of Swords come out. Your actions, the end of this month, Seven of Pentacles in reverse to the Empress in reverse. So I have an Emperor and an Empress on the table. This could be very much about family, parents, a relationship, serious commitment in some way. Possibly this Emperor and this Empress could be two sides of you or two different people in your life or a relationship you're in. The Seven of Pentacles is where we take a long-term view of something. We kind of mope about it. We want sustainable results. We want a return on our investment. We'll persevere. We'll make the investment. In the reverse, this is lack of long term vision, limited success versus reward. I think some of you will get tired of moping and reevaluating and waiting for something. If it's in regards to finances, make sure you're prepared for the long term, And if someone won't get out there in your garden, typically the Seven of Pentacles is a person in a garden waiting for this money tree to bear fruit. If someone can't do that with you, you've got to do what you got to do. The Empress in reverse tells me you're feeling like there's not a lot of fertile ground in a situation. You're having a really hard time with this Emperor taking the lead and establishing structure and authority for yourself, or that's being challenged in you. And this Empress in reverse tells me you guys are feeling a little creatively blocked up. Make sure you focus on your health and your own creative side. Make sure you're able to be nurturing, practical, and grounded. You might give up on a situation where that's just not happening. I'm seeing a struggling commitment between two people, possibly because someone is feeling a little codependent or somewhat blocked up in some way. The Empress in reverse struggles to care for herself and for others. If you're a mother or an Empress or even a father, you guys might need to take a break, and you might need to focus a little bit on planning for the future, because it looks like with this Five of Pentacles here, some of you might be struggling, not getting what you want or you need, could even be having financial problems. It is becoming a burden. Try to release those burdens, try to delegate them to get others to help you. I see a lot of you feeling really obligated in some way to play by some rules. Just make sure they're your own with the Hierophant. The way you see yourself at the end of the month, middle to end of the month, Four Swords to the Queen of Cups in reverse. So I'm seeing two cards here with the Queen of Cups in reverse to the Empress in reverse of really needing a lot of self-care. This is a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy with the Queen of Cups in reverse. Four of Swords is seeking solitude and calm. You need rest. You need relaxation. You're feeling stressed out. The Four of Cups and the Four of Swords are tough energies. They're just about two of the hardest cards, I think, to deal with in the tarot, these energies where you're stressed, you're really in your feelings. You need more self-care and more self-love. I think you see yourself having a hard time listening to your emotional intuition. Some of you are stressed out because you've been dealing with someone else who, with this Queen of Cups in reverse, this Empress in reverse, this could be a person around you that might be struggling with some codependency issues and struggling with being able to get nurturing and practical and grounded and centered in their emotions. And that might be triggering you in some way. I see you pretty deep in your feelings here. You're going to need a lot more self-care and self-love so that you can be more intuitively in flow, because something is stressing you out. I think it's this power struggle. And I think that it's this oppressive Hierophant energy as well. This can be heavy and tough. In your environment, I clarified this out pretty good. There's a person around you, whoever you're thinking about right now, Aries. Six of Swords in reverse, the Moon in reverse, the Angel de la Nute, which is a extra card in this deck, and the Nine of Wands. So this is a person that's having a hard time moving on from healing. They keep going out of the frying pan into the fire. They're slow to recover from something. They're trying to make a personal transition, but they keep resisting change. They're circling the harbor. They can't just move on and heal from something. And in their feelings is the moon in reverse to this angel de la Nute, where this person's sort of experiencing the dark night of the soul, and they're having a hard time coming out of it. They're dealing with a lot of repressed emotions, facing a lot of uncertainty moving forward, and that's difficult for them. They're trying to get out of it, they're trying to open up, they're trying not to feel like they're operating in the moonlight or keeping you in the moonlight in some way. But I have the moon and the sun in reverse on the table, so a lot of duality, things being revealed that are difficult for this person to accept. They're having, I think this person honestly has a hard time moving on and breaking cycles. They are very guarded with you. The Nine of Wands tells me they're still in the fight, they're still in the game, but they have their guard is up with you with the Nine of Wands. They're pretty worn down. You might both be. If this is a marriage or a relationship, even if this is a boss or a coworker, they're facing a lot of uncertainty moving forward, and they're having a hard time moving on. Your action towards this person, Seven of Swords to the Five of Cups, for whatever reason, you feel the need to tread very lightly and be very strategic and careful in this situation. You might even feel the need to act on your own behalf and get out of the situation very carefully. This seems to disappoint you to do so with the Five of Cups. You're feeling a little bit of regret. And you also feel like you need to be very careful in this situation and be strategic in some way. I think you feel like you need to be the lone wolf, but it also disappoints you at the same time. I like the way you want to handle it, though, with this Two of Cups here. Very much so. Let's focus on the positive and not just the negative. I see a struggling relationship happening. The way you'll be feeling, this is tough. Work to get out of it. The advice will help. The Eight of Swords in reverse to the Nine of Swords. Aries, you are overthinking something and stressed out, my loves. I like that the Eight of Swords is in reverse. You want to free yourself from negative thoughts. You want to be open to a new perspective. You do not want to feel like the victim in a situation. You do not want to be in a self imposed prison of your own mind. You're trying to open to new perspectives. You will face beliefs about yourself that limit you. You will have a strong inner critic. Try not to do this to yourself. You know, you've thought your way into it. I see you trying to think your way out, but there's stress with the Nine of Swords, a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, a lot of fear, even some depression and some nightmares. Something's just a bloody nightmare. I think it's causing you to feel like you need to be strategic and careful in this situation with the Seven of Swords, and it's disappointing you in some way. But what we're ending on is pretty decent. It's not horrible. I just think you have a decision to make. Three of Wands, which is looking towards the future. The Fool in reverse, that's your card, and the Two of Swords. So the Three of Wands is so much about progress and expansion and having foresight. You're feeling at this point like, okay, I have to plan for the future. I have more than one option here. I want expansion. I want new opportunities. I'm facing forward, not backwards. Not quite ready to take a leap of faith, though. The Fool in reverse, make sure you're not reckless. I think you hold back. I think you want to start a new cycle with the Fool here, but you're having a hard time having a beginner's mindset. The Fool is either going to take a huge risk or he's afraid to take a risk. And I think you're afraid to take a risk and move forward in a new cycle in some way. So you're kind of holding back. You might be needing those ships to come in and get a little bit more. You're planning right now before you leap forward, the Fool. And the Two of Swords, this could be a person around you kind of blocking you out that you're waiting to come towards you, but I meant for this to be you. The Two of Swords is a difficult decision. You're going to weigh your options. You'll be at an impasse. Others around you might see you being kind of avoidant. That's because you're about to leap into a new cycle. There have been burdens and things to complete. And there's a lot of pressure here with this Hierophant, this commitment of some kind. So I think you guys are just going to consider the future before you go diving in like the Fool. And you might be blocking out a Fool as well. You're going to use your discernment. Their advice to you, the archangels wanted to speak to you. Haniel has come out, and so is Ariel. The archangel Haniel says you're extra sensitive to energies and emotions right now. Honor yourself and your feelings. So if you're feeling sensitive, do not ignore your emotions. Your emotions are your barometer in any situation. We experience emotion as animals because they keep us alive. and they're a warning sign to what's going on around us. So honor your feelings, okay? Honor your feelings and honor those of others around you. You will be extra sensitive. Also, courage is coming out. Some of you are dealing with a Leo, even. Be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. I see you being challenged in some way with the Hierophant and the Emperor and the Empress in reverse. This could even be a parent-child dynamic. So it's really important for you to be strong. Courage only comes when it's necessary. It's important for you to stand up for what you believe and listen to the way you're feeling. That will help guide you. I'm sorry, I'm so hoarse, you guys. Hang on a second. Sorry, had to clear my throat. I always sound like a Kentucky coal miner. I have terrible allergies. I talk all day long reading tarot. So I always sound like that. I'm sorry, you guys. The first message from the Colette Baron Reed Animal Spirit Oracle deck is Koi Fish Spirit. There is always enough. When Koi Spirit comes out, it's because we have a lacking mindset. We're afraid we won't have enough resources. We're afraid we're not getting enough. The message of Koi Fish Spirit is if you have a mindset of abundance from within and what you have around you, and you can pull on the resources that you do have, when you can make that enough, the environment will start to change to reflect that. You might be dealing with a bit of a lacking mindset. So, Koi Fish is here to tell you there is enough and you are enough. Chameleon Spirit came out, which is act as if. This is when we go through a molting process and we're brand new and we have a new skin. Some of you are in a new environment of some way, or you're about to go into one. Act as if is about sort of blending in with your surroundings so that in order to protect yourself and get your footing in a situation that might be new to you, it's also telling you, it's like sort of fake it till you make it. Like, rise above other people's BS. You hold your head high and just make sure that you are this is a second card of sensitivity. If you've just molted and you've just made a change, you're going to feel very sensitive. Just let yourself get acclimated to the people around you and new situations. You might be dealing with a person that's not great at communication as well. Make sure that you're good at communication. When act as if comes out, though, you usually need to just hold your head high in a situation and not allow other people's lower energies to bother you. Sandpiper Spirit came out for you. Be playful. You need to get a little bit of playfulness into your life. The sun did come in the reverse for you. You might also be dealing with a very playful person that's making you feel like there's not enough. I just heard that message too. Some of you are dealing with someone who just acts as if everything is fine and they just want to play around. And you're like, what are you doing? We need to get to work here. I'm worried about resources and finances and our relationship and our life in general. They want you to be playful, though. You can keep this in balance, but a little bit of playfulness and happiness and time in the sun will help you. Just continue to rise above the lower energies and know that there is always enough in this situation and that you are enough as well. Okay, Aries, that's your bonus reading for the end of June. If this resonates with you, I hope it helps you. I love reading for you guys. I'm a Libra, you're Aries, we're Mars and Venus. You're right across the wheel from me, and I love your sign. So I do hope this helps you guys. If it resonates, I hope the end of June goes well for you. Book a private reading with me if you want to have a personal reading about health, wealth, love, or destiny, or your spiritual path. The link to my website to schedule is in the description below. I'm always listening to the universe for you, Aries. Take care of yourselves. I really love you guys. I'll see you next time.